Farruca is a 4/4 thing. So usually we have these two measure phrases, two measures of 4, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3, right? Now we start generally on the E, right? We start these phrases in the same way that tango starts on the B flat and resolves to the A. In Farruca, we're generally starting on the E and resolving to the A minor, right? And one thing you're going to see me do is I'm not going to play the E7 the way you would normally play it for a very specific reason, which is that we play this melody on top of the Farruca, right? And you will sometimes hear with this note, C sharp. I prefer this sound with the C natural, and I can't grab that C natural if I'm playing the E7 the way I normally do. So I'm using my ring finger here, my index finger on the G sharp, and then I'm using my middle finger to grab that C. Right, so the first thing we're going to do is 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Right, we're just doing 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2, and here 3. I'm doing a 4-finger rasgueado, and we're going to talk about that because I use a 4-finger rasgueado a lot in Farruca where I don't in most of the stuff I play. And let's look at this right hand pattern that I've been doing here, right? I'm doing 1 and 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. If you watched any of my videos, you know that I generally use a 3-finger rasgueado, right, most of the time, which gives us even 16th notes. Taka, 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 taka. I'm not 100% sure why I do this. I think it may be because for me there's a kind of slightly retro feel to Farruca, and the 4-finger 5-stroke rasgueado, right, which includes the pinky, was a little more common back then. It was much more common than the 3-finger, and now it's the other way around. This even rasgueado is more common nowadays than this sort of uneven quintuplet. But I do use it a lot in Farruca, right? So what we're doing is, if you've looked at any of my rasgueado lessons, right, we're still holding the hand in exactly the same way. We're still sort of loading all the fingers and shooting them out individually. The difference is only that we're including the pinky. Now what that does is it gives us 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 with a return, right? Da, 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 da. It's a little wobbly. It's not as even as da, 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 right? So if I did a 3-finger, even 16th note, I get 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3. See how that's nice and even? Nothing wrong with this at all. Now I'm going to do it with the 5-finger. Starting here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3. Right, so at the very end I did da 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 dum, which is a nice variation of da da dum, right? 1, 2, da 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 dum. 1, 2, 3, 1, 1, 2, 3, 1. They both have the same rhythm. They sound slightly different. This one is a little more controlled than that's a bigger sound. But most of the time I'm doing 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, right? You can practice both. You can do 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2 E and a 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 E and a 3 and 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, or 1, I don't even have a count for that. 1, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3. Right? Sometimes I'm ending 1, 2, 3, and sometimes I'm ending 1, 2, 3. Right? Different. One of them, dun, 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 1 and 2, 3. 1, 2, 3 versus 1 and 2 and 3. 1, 2, 3. Right? So these are sort of rhythmic variations, and we'll do more obviously as we go, but this is a good start for your right hand for most of the stuff that we're looking at. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Right? This is the basic Farruca. And what I'm doing as far as the melody here on top, which you don't have to do, you can absolutely do 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Or with the melody, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 1, 2, 3, 4. So the melody, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 1. Right? 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1, 2, 3 and 4 and 1. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4 and 1, 2, 3, 4. Right, so this is a very straight, mostly eighth notes. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2. Takata 3. Right, 1, 2, 3, 4. And we can end on 3. 1, 2, 3. Wait. 1. Or we can do 1, 2, 3, and 4 and 1, 2. And by varying when we end on the 3 and when we kind of do the 3, 4, 1, we vary sort of the way the compás feels, right? We have relatively limited harmonic vocabulary, as we do in a lot of flamenco. So to make the most of it, we want all these little variations. So we're going to look at a lot of those variations in a minute. To get started, I would just get used to this, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 4, and 1, and 2, 3, 4, 1, and 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 1, 2, 3. Right? What I did on the D minor chord there was 1 and 2. I put my pinky here on the 3. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. And then this being 4/4, it's going to be a little easier than in some of the 12-beat compasses for you guys to feel 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1, 2, 3. Boom. 1, 2, 3. Right? Because we're a little more connected generally to 4/4 music than we are to other stuff. So it's just going to be a little bit easier, hopefully, here. Let's look at some of these variations, right? In their simpler forms. When we're going to D minor, we can do 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. But this passing thing where we go to the A7 usually happens on beats 3 and 4, right? 1, 2, 3, 4. Now the D minor, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3. So that's basically our structure, right? And we're going to play around with how to embellish this and have fun with this idea of going from A minor, sometimes to A7, to D minor, back to A minor, and then F, E, A, and variations of this little structure, right? So we can start by playing as much of just E to A as we want. That's perfectly legit to, you know. And we'll talk about some right hand patterns in a minute. For now, I'm keeping the right hand really simple so we can look at the structure of how we're building these phrases. So the first little embellishment we're going to add is to this F, E, A little chunk, right? So coming out of 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. That's our basic idea. 1, 2 beats on F, 1, 3, 4 rather, 2 beats on E, and then we resolve. And it's really common to have a little pickup to the F. So 1, 2, 3, and 4, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, and 4, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. So before adding it into this whole structure, I would say just get used to this 1, 2, 3, and 4, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, and 4, and 1. Right? Most phrases are going to end on 1, 2, 3, and 4, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. And right now I'm just doing this 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3. But we'll find other things that we can do on the F and the E. Not as important as getting the time of where they come in. So coming out of regular compás, we would have 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, and 4, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Back to compás. And when I say compás, I guess I mean back to the, you know, just E and A, because this is all really part of plain compás in Farruca. Everything we're looking at right now would be considered plain compás. We'll look at some falsetas down the road so you can put together a solo. So let's look at a couple other little really common embellishments that we can use to make this little chunk of structure a little more interesting, right? So we have more possibilities. So basically we're going back and forth between E and A and E and A. Then we're going to D, possibly with A7 before it, back to A minor, F, E, A minor, right? So coming out of the D minor, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Right? So we're not doing F to E here. What we're doing in that place is 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Right? We can do this anywhere, but this is a really common place. So we're playing compás. D minor, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, and 4, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3. Right, so now we have two possibilities to basically give us that sort of A to 7 resolve. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. And what I'm doing here, I'm hitting the open E string 1, and it's da ga da da ga da da ga da da triplets, right? 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, and it's really 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3. So 1. We're hammering on the beat of the C, play the open D, and then pull off second fret of the fourth string, play the C, the third fret of the fifth, and then hammer that on, play the B, and then play the open A string. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3. So let's look at a couple more things that we can do in that same section, coming out of the D minor, although later on I'll show you how to use them when you're not coming out of the D minor, right? So if we're coming out of here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3. Right? So same function, same place, but a different phrase. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, and 4, and 1, 2, 4, 1, 2, 3. So what we're doing here, it's all arpeggio. We're playing a low E with a AMI arpeggio, which is the kind of arpeggio we're doing here. Then a D, open 4th string, C, 3rd fret of the 5th string, B, 2nd fret, and then we resolve to A. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3. Right? And just because I haven't mentioned this yet, so sometimes we're doing 1, 2, 3, and sometimes we're doing 1, 2, 3. Right? 1, I resolve to a bass note. 1 and 2 and 3. The other one, I'm just hitting the chord. 1, 2, 3, 4. So in this case, because I want that 1, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3. I'm doing that. Right? So we now have, coming out of here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, and 4, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. We also have 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3. And now, finally, we're going to do 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. 2, 3, 4. Right? So these are our 4 elements. This little scale, 1E and a 2E and a 3E and a 4E and a 1. It's a full measure of 16th notes. And it starts on the F, we pull off. Then on the 2nd string, 3rd, 2nd, 1st, right? So now on the 3rd string, we play the 2nd fret, and then the 1st, then the 2nd again, 4th fret, 2nd, 1st, and then 4th string, 3rd, 2nd, open, then a 5th string, same thing. So nice and slow. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3. And it's a very flamenco thing to do here, right? We're not doing the bass note together, although you certainly can, you can do it. But the sort of more flamenco way to do it is tatum. And you can place that note kind of anywhere in time as long as this is right on the downbeat. So, and, right, that was a little earlier. Da, 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 da. Or I could wait till the very last minute and do it there. So we've got these 4 elements. We have finally, right? And I've placed them so far all in the context of coming out of the D minor chord, but we don't have to use them only there. I would practice them there because they're nice round phrases that really work. But as we're going to see, we can use them all over the place to make our compás more interesting. If I'm here, I can just throw that in. Without the D minor. So I can throw those in a lot of places. And I'm going to just do this little thing I did at the end. So coming out of 1, 2, 3, 4, we have the scale. 1 and 2 and 3. Right? 1, and I did 2 downstrokes with the index. 1 and 2 and 3. Right? Obviously I could do 1 and 2, 3. Or 1 and 2, which is a little weird because we're doing down on the up and up on the down. But this, the reason I do that is because I like this sound of getting really those bass strings in all of these. Or I could do something like this also. It's dun dun taka ta tum. That's the rhythm we're going for, and it's a nice sort of phrase closing and usually end on a 3 bum bum taka ta tum. And 1 and 2 and 3, right? And while we're here, I just want to point out, I said at the beginning that was one of the really common things. Also very common, what I've been doing, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. So now, one more thing we can do with these elements is we can actually kind of string them together. And most of them are sort of in the E position, right? So if we did 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Right, so every time what I did was I played one of these little elements instead of playing the E because they all occupy that space, right? They're all basically E7 replacements. So these little elements, you don't have to use them every time. You don't have to use them at all, but they do make your compás a little more interesting. So let's look at a few other ways that we play the compás, and we're going to move up to the 5th fret for a minute. At the 5th fret, we have this A minor. For our E7, we have this E7, we have this E7, we have this one which we use a lot, right? We have this for our F, E, and our D minor is here, right? So if we keep the same right hand pattern, we would do 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 4, 1, 2, and 3, 4, right? I went from A minor to A7, and now on D minor, and on the D minor, it's very common to throw in these top notes. So I could do or So these are really the elements that you're going to use to put together the compás of Farruca, right? We'll have some falseta videos, and we'll have some videos that sort of look at how to put everything together. But before you go there, I would really take some time and just get used to this groove, the sort of back and forth between E7 and A minor, with these little excursions to D minor and these nice resolving phrases, right? And then taking these resolving phrases and learning how to just throw them in anytime you would normally play an E, right? Because at its heart, Farruca is just 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, right? And then we have these little variations. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. Right? That right there is really what Farruca is. So expanding on that, embellishing that, having fun rhythmically with those ideas is like 80 or 90% of what you're doing when you're playing Farruca Compás, right? So really get comfortable with this, and then go take a look at some falsetas and we'll put it all together.